Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hello, welcome to the Business Brunch live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. I don't know, all over the place. This is the show that provides continual professional development in those bite-sized chunks over lunch or breakfast or dinner, depending on where you are. And we do this for people around the globe who want to connect, learn, and evolve. If you're joining us today, do say hello. If it's the first time you've joined, just say hey. Joined us for the first time. If you are regulars of the show, you know what to do. Pop in, say hi, let us know where you are in the world. Also, let us know if you are willing to connect with other people. Part of this show is all about connecting you with like-minded people. You never know who you might meet, when you might meet them, and why you might need them. So get chatting in there. And don't worry if you can't see everybody's comments in the chat box, because as I said, we are going live over several channels. So not everybody's going to be commenting on the same feed. We are live for the next 30 minutes. And today's topic is, how do we build trust through visibility and demonstrating credibility? And today's show is led by our very own gorgeous Vanessa Ashworth, who's got even shorter on the hair today. She's the queen of the value proposition. But before we start and jump into the chat and see who's saying hello, let's just do a quick intro of who we are, ladies, shall we? I shall start. Hello, I'm Sarah. I'm an executive coach and I work with senior leaders and executives across the globe, helping them develop mindset and the leadership skills that lead to pretty outstanding results. So that's what I'm all about. Melinda, let's go to you next.
Hello, my name is Melinda Ward. I am the Director of Consulting Solutions and Managed Services for Helm 360. And my area of speciality is business transformation, consultancy, and strategic thinking and that sort of fun stuff.
Very good at thinking, she is. Very good.
Not always all the time, because I'm human. No matter what Capture says, I'm not a robot. But over to Vanessa.
Hello, so I'm Vanessa Ashworth and I am a marketer. I step in to make you stand out. So at the minute I work with a company called 2i, but my contract is due to end. So I'm looking for my next marketing contract. Can I step in to help you stand out? So I can do that on a contract basis or permanently. But that's who I am and what I do. And you'll find out more when we start chatting.
Yeah. So we're focusing on your knowledge today. Obviously, Melinda and I have got some thoughts and opinions, because that's what we're here for. But yeah, you're the one with the know-how on this. Is there anybody coming into the chat box to say hello yet?
We've got our friend Danny has returned.
Hello. Welcome back, sir.
Happy to see you back. And we've got what might be a new listener in from Dubai. Looks like Lammy.
Hey, nice to meet you, Lammy.
To have you with us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
I'm sure there are other people hanging out in the magic of the internet. And so please let us know if you're there. And also, if you happen to be watching on replay, either way, if you have questions, just drop them in the chat for your respective stream and we will have a look and we'll respond. If you're typing a comment in during our live show, we will do our best to answer any questions that are raised. So do feel free to type them in and we will bring them in and discuss them as quickly as we can.
We will do. Well said. Okay, so we are on a shortened show now because we're over lunch and we know people's time is precious. So I'm going to hand straight over to Vanessa. But first of all, we say hello to Maria.
Hello. Maria.
Oh, great to see you too, Maria. Whereabouts are you calling from? Let us know. Or calling from? I mean, calling from. I feel like I'm on the radio. I'm on the telly box. What we're talking about. Where are you in the world then?
So we've got.
I'm completing my MBA and keen to learn your tax.
Yeah.
There's so much behind this topic.
There is so much behind this topic. And it's really key now, isn't it? It's really key because the economy is not very stable. There are challenges, people are reducing costs, but companies also know that they've got to continue investment, whether that's investing in new people or in innovation or in new processes, whatever it is. If they want to get through this recession and come out on top, then they're going to have to invest. But in order to invest with you, they need to know that you're there. You've got to be visible. they've got to know that you can deliver what you say you're going to deliver. And that, of course, means they've got to trust you, because they need to make sure that what they're buying from you or hiring you for, they're going to get that return on the investment. And so that's why this is a more important topic now than ever.
Just to chip in, then, this is really about de-risking the fear of failure, isn't it? Whatever it is, failure in the product, failure in a person, whether you're onboarding, whether you're looking for new jobs, whether you're selling yourself, it doesn't matter, does it? This is about reducing the other person who's got to buy into you, reducing their fear of risk.
Yeah, it's telling them as well, being clear for yourself what it is that you deliver. So the whole idea of a value proposition, it's a promise of a value that you're going to deliver to them. And of course, it's only of value to them if it's something that they need. So the work that you do to create your value proposition, there are two key elements. First of all, it's what you do and what you're good at, but kind of forget that, because the key thing is it's what your customer really, really needs. And so in this economy, in this situation, people are going to be, or fewer people will be buying and buying less. So you need to make sure that you stand out. But it's not just you stand out. You've got to stand out for that thing that you deliver that's going to answer the problem that they've got. And that's it. That's the whole kind of, you've got to stand out and you've got to be memorable. And being memorable to that person is that you're delivering what they need. I could, as I said, I'm going to be on the lookout for my next contract. You won't hear me saying, "Hi, I'm a marketer. I do marketing," because there's hundreds of people who are out there offering marketing services. So I've got to find a different way of making myself stand out and being more credible. And we talk a lot about niching down, and that's just one way that you can become more credible, because by niching down, you talk about something specific and you build your knowledge and demonstrate your knowledge of that specific thing. And so we'll kind of talk about that. There's so much we could cover. And we've only got kind of the next kind of 20 minutes to do it.
We can do round 2 and round 3.
We can come back. And if anyone does have any specific questions that you do want us to dive into another time, then just say it and we'll do it. Anything that you need. Right. So stand out and be memorable for what your ideal customer needs. And that's basically in what you do when you create a value proposition. And of course, the very, very first thing about the value proposition is you need to know your ideal customer. Now, if you're a business and you've got a product or a service, then you should have a very clear picture of who your ideal customer is. If you are job seeking, as many people are on LinkedIn, it's not as simple. But what I think you've got to do first is lean into your strengths. What is it you're great at? Are you the value proposition queen? Are you the customer journey mapping queen? Are you what is it that you do? Are you the best production supervisor in the world? What is, lean into your strengths and the things that give you joy, and therefore from there think about the company that you can help. What is the ideal role? And then think again, okay, what is the problem that you solve? It's not that you're a great production engineer, it's that you reduce bottlenecks. You make sure that factory floor completely flows, the process is succinct, everything moves on, there are no bottlenecks, there are no holdups, and the quality of the product at the end is perfect, so that the company is not wasting money, so therefore you're reducing cost.
I think a lot of people get stuck in with this thought that, oh, I need to appeal to everybody. I need to be a generalist. I need to show I can do all the things and bring all the value in all areas. The problem is by diluting your message like that, you're actually standing out to no one.
Yeah, and that's it.
And it's a bit of an old-fashioned concept. So it's really, this is what works better.
Just before you go on, just because, you know, my mindset thing's going to kick in here, which is the reason people do that is because they think it makes them more valuable to more people. All it does is make you less valuable to more people. And it, as you say, it dilutes your message completely and no one hears you. But if you're thinking, oh my God, I can't niche down because there's something going on in your mindset that's making you worried about that you're going to be missing out on something. So just keep an eye on that too.
And it's great that you kind of said that there, because if you are a job seeker, you'll see a job spec and there'll be a huge list of maybe 15, 20 kind of check boxes for you to check before you apply. You know, can you manage a team? Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you manage stakeholders, manage agencies? They are just check boxes. They're features. Somebody at your level in your career should be able to do that. They're just check boxes. But read through that job spec, because in between the lines, there should be a clue as to what that position needs to solve. If you're a marketer, it's visibility because they need more sales, or they need to enter new markets, or they're going to go through an IPO or something and need to raise the profile in a different market. They're gearing up to something, or there is a problem now that needs to be solved. And you need to look through that job spec to work out what that problem is. And if somebody was already in that role, but maybe, this is a new opportunity, it's a new hire, you're going to fix something that person perhaps couldn't do, or move in a different direction. But you can read that in the job spec and work out what the problem is you're going to solve. And so your CV or your application has got to talk about that. It's that value promise again, deliver to that value. The rest of it's just tick boxes. Yeah. And you can talk about that in the interview and all the rest of it, but to get the interview, to stand out from those other 100, 200 applications they're going to receive, you need to find out what their problem is. Another way to do that, in order to get to know the customer and think about and understand what their pains are, get on the phone. Get on the phone to that hiring manager, or to that recruitment person. I know, talk to people. Terrifying, isn't it? I hate it. But talk to the customer in order to the only way you can differentiate yourself and understand what their problem is and what it is they really need. You can read between the lines, but get on the phone if you can. If there's a name there, then get in touch. Get in touch, find out more, and then you can really make sure that your application has your value proposition and the value that you're going to deliver in that role, the thing that they really need.
Cool.
And what's interesting is when you think about now, whether this is for an individual looking for a role within a company, or for a company that is, looking to get business, if you were going in and saying, oh, pick me because I'm wonderful and I'm the best, that's not going to appeal to people as much as the message of, I understand your problems, I can help solve your problems, I'm your best choice. It's a completely different discussion, isn't it? It's not, there's trust involved, obviously, but it's just that whole presentation. It's not just like, oh, pick me, I'm desperate, please pick me, which can be off-putting, as opposed to, hey, I understand. How can I help? This is how I think I can help. Let's talk further.
There's the first stage in any relationship. You've got to build trust. You've got to relate to that person, which is what you're talking about, Vanessa. And then that gives you the right to go and discover what their real problems are. You can talk about it generally, can't you? But then in an interview or in a new customer meeting or an existing customer meeting where a new product or service is going to be sold, you've got to discover the problem. We're so busy going, oh, look at this. In this side of my coat, I've got watches. And in this side, I've got this. So busy selling like we're on a market stall. We just need to calm it down, look for the problem, solve the solution.
Sorry. Have you got any comments before we go?
Yeah, we've got lots of things coming up in the comments. I'll just do a quick catch up. Maria's come in from Cork, and she is aiming to build her coaching business and learn some marketing magic. Well, she's arrived in the right spot. And we have Wagi back with us today. Welcome back, Wagi. We're getting the confirmation from a mysterious LinkedIn user to sell your niche. Absolutely. And Danny is saying, in attracting jobs or customers, being generalist is beige. Exactly. What do you want to be famous for?
Yes.
Perfect message.
Yes.
And the last one we have at the moment is from Louise. A friend and I came across a job description where both of us could do about 85% of the role, but each of us were lacking experience in 15%, but a different 15% for both. If 15% checkboxes can't be ticked, but you know your niche and that covers everything else, is that still okay?
Yes.
Absolutely. Because
Yes.
a lot of people who barely qualify for 50% of that are going to apply. Because the thing is, every job description is basically describing a unicorn.
Yeah.
Because it's always, oh, what do we want? Oh, well, if we could find this, that'd be perfect. And this and this. Oh, yeah, that'd be really perfect. And how about this? Oh, yeah. And what if they make a great latte? Oh, that's perfect. And what if they walk around and sprinkle glitter wherever they go? Oh, fabulous.
Okay.
You're just
this came up in an early discussion, actually. I don't know what the statistics are, but it's the case that men and women look at job descriptions very differently.
Yeah.
And men will look, and if they check 30% of the job description, they'll apply, where women think we have to do 90%. What I would say to that is look at what the problem is, and can you solve the problem? The rest of it, as Melinda said, it's just it's a unicorn. It's ideally they'd be able to do all this, do all the other, and then shove a broom up their ass and clean the floor as well. But that's not what the job is. The problem is they don't need a clean floor. there's a problem, and so the idea is, can you solve that problem? Because that's all that really matters. And and you've got to, nobody's going to go into a job that they 100% fit and enjoy, because we all, if we've got a growth mindset, want to grow, want to develop, want to get better. And so there's got to be a gap. There's got to be a gap that we can strive to fill. There's got to be a gap in our learning that helps us to then move up into the role and develop ourselves into it. And then we'll truly love it. And a good employer will recognize that. No one's that unicorn.
James is raising an interesting point. He's referring to Louise's point, saying it's a real problem for many autistic and, I presume, neurodiverse in general job seekers. Employers need to do better in writing JDs. Absolutely.
They really do. I did a show on this, a couple of months ago, didn't I? About where does onboarding go wrong? And it goes wrong right back at the beginning with writing crap job descriptions. And the problem is, most people who are tasked to write the job description are given, it's something like this, and they're given the best fit to work with. And a lot of it just doesn't make any sense. And so for those of us that are less comfortable, maybe neurodivergent people are less comfortable figuring out what's true and what isn't. I don't know. James, you'll be able to answer that for me, hopefully. But it makes it even more complicated, and it actually actively eliminates people who are different from applying. It's a really good point, James. Really good point.
A lot of job descriptions are written because somebody will say, we need a marketing director to fix this problem. And then it gets handed to somebody else. They'll go and look online at job descriptions for a marketing director. That sounds good. Oh, we'll put that in our shopping bag too. Forget that. Eventually your CV hopefully will land in front of the person who's hiring, and they know what their problem is. And if you've read between the lines, you've spoken to them, you've found out what that is, then that's what you're applying for. But I absolutely agree, when there's a million boxes to check, if you don't feel you check all of them, and if you are neurodivergent, you're going to see that as a bigger challenge. You find out what the problem is, know your ideal customer, find out what their problem is, and think about how you can solve it. So let's get to how do you create your value proposition? Because I think we've built up the need for it, haven't we? Yes. So number one, know your ideal customer. Know your hiring manager. When you've got the picture of what that person is, who that company is, but it's usually a person in that company, you'll then start to be able to find out what their pains are. From there, knowing what their pains are, knowing what they have to deliver, knowing the things that are keeping them awake at night, you can then start thinking about what you do and what of their pains do you solve. When you know that, you then need to start thinking about how do you do it better than anyone else? How do you do it more differently than anyone else? How do you stand out in the way you deliver it? And that's where you kind of lean into your strengths a little bit, because you don't want to sell yourself to a job where you're doing something you hate. So how do you solve them? You'll do it in a different way to everyone else. The dog's decided to make herself known. We'll try and ignore her for now. But again, to understand the pains of the customer, talk to your customer. If you're thinking about how you solve them, if you've got existing customers, if you are a business, then talk to your customers and say, what is it I do for you? If you could describe me in one word, what would that be? That's a real eye opener. No, you're staying there. She wants to go out.
She wants to join in. She wants to come and tell you all about her value proposition.
Yeah.
But understanding that kind of what makes you different, because you are your USP. No one does it like you.
No.
And if you try, as Danny said, to be like everyone else, you become beige in a sea of beigeness.
Because I know I've been through this, several iterations of this at certain stages in my career, thinking, what is it? What is it about me? How do I do it? Why am I different? And a lot of the time, if you're not, people find it really hard to accept that they do something really well. So I don't know whether you'd advise this or not, but it helped me to look back at what have I achieved, and then reverse engineer it. How did I achieve it? What did I do? And some of that may be very similar to other people, but actually it was me doing it that was different. That's the dog. Hello.
Well, and also a lot of people will think about things that they do really well, but for them it comes naturally because it's just what they do. And so many people kind of diminish things when you ask someone, or you say to someone, oh, you did that really well, we had good, oh yeah, it was just ordinary day for me. But it's like, no, it's ordinary day for you, but it's not an ordinary day for many other people in the world. So that's what you need to package and describe, is the things that come very natural and fluid to yourself, but are not natural and fluid to the majority of the rest of the world. And everybody has things like this that they are really, really good at.
Yeah, it's being brave enough to put them out there, not just assume that everybody is going to know what you're an expert in. There's the dog. I like the dog's doing. What's the time, Mr. Wolf? Pretty much.
I know. Yeah. Right. So just quickly, do you want to pull some comments up first before we go on, because I know we're short on time. I want to get this in as well.
Yeah, we've got Danny's been bringing us some supporting statistics, which is great. SAP study found that over 40% of the skills that an individual has are not used in any way in their current or applied for role.
Wow.
You always have much more to offer than what specifically matches the job description.
Really useful to know.
Yeah, further to Danny's point, he's saying the job description, job spec, and job advert should be completely different as they have different purposes. But so many organizations basically copy paste. Very true. International business, the job spec is the international business case of why the role needs filling. The job description are the skills and attributes required for the role. And
the job advert.
I'm going to jump to job advert and then go back to the Waggy's comment. Job advert would be, why should the candidate apply for the role?
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, as I've seen many organizations that differentiate like that. And it's a really good point for people looking to fill roles to think about those points.
This is something I was just thinking about as you were talking, Vanessa, as well, is that we're talking about what to do, but actually where you do it. And then the people that aren't comfortable showing up on LinkedIn, I mean, they're really holding, you're just invisible. If you're not on there, you're invisible, aren't you? And it's a great opportunity to share your worth, your value, so you then become more credible without even trying. So great point, Maggie.
Yep. Last couple. Lamy is finding this a very valuable insight. Thank you. I'm sure Vanessa will be happy to hear this. And James is saying, you've sometimes felt that he wasn't beige enough for many hiring managers. I think being too colorful can appear difficult to manage, but maybe it was a blessing in disguise. Yeah, because if you think about it, if a potential hiring manager is finding you threatening for being yourself, is that a good fit? And is that going to be a healthy environment going forward?
So I think there's different things to think about there. I'm going to go back to normal. First of all, if you're too colourful, then it's not the right role for you. There is also this fear of making the wrong decision. Everyone knows when they're hiring that they want somebody to come and move the needle, to do something different, to bring something, especially with a senior hire, to bring something different to the team that will be different than before, that will move them on. At the same time as they want that, there's a fear that, it's the fear of doing something different.
It's the similarity bias. We want it, but we don't need it, but we want it because it puts fear on our minds. As soon as we feel fear, we feel tension. When we feel tension, we don't want to do something because
so you hire safe, somebody that checks boxes but doesn't move the needle. And so it's better to stand out and get the right job for you, where you fit and you can be yourself and you can be free and you can take some risks, because without taking a risk, the company is not going to move on. You'll just do the same as they've always done. And as we said before, if you always do it, you always did, you are going backwards because your competitors are moving forwards. Anyway, why? I'm just going to say we've got a few minutes.
Can you go onto big screen again for you?
Well, I'm not going to go through it because we haven't got time. But there is this book. You don't need the book. It's called Value Proposition by Design. If you search on a search engine for the value proposition canvas,
it's all backwards.
Oh God, right, never mind. But if you search for the value proposition canvas, you get this graph, and it's a really good way of helping you to understand, especially if you're a business, what your value proposition is. You start by understanding what customers' jobs, what they do, the pains, what makes it difficult for them to do business, and then what gains, what makes it really easy for them to do business. So it's this that you need to think about. What makes business smooth and easy? Then think about yourself. Think about your products and services. Think about their pains and how you relieve those pains. And then think about what makes business go really smoothly for them that you do. And if you can be that happy, we have the happy smile and the sad. If you can bring that smile with that solution, then it's a really great way of finding your value proposition. But marching through, we've only got a couple of minutes, so
we can come back to it. Don't worry, we've got loads more to do. We can do this again.
We can do it again. But why should you find your value proposition? If you can understand what you do to solve your customer's pain, and you can put that into a nice pithy sentence. You might start with a paragraph, but then kind of bring it down, make it really simple and snappy. I can help. But if once you've found your value proposition, mine went down to I step in to make you stand out. I know it's backwards, but and then it goes into marketing strategy and value propositions and customer. But I step in to make you stand out. And once you know that, it gives you focus and it gives you clarity on what you do. It gives you confidence in what you do, because like Sarah said, you can think back then of all the times you've delivered that and think, yeah, I am good at that. But it gives you a focus of what to talk about. It gives you your headline for LinkedIn. Remember, those first 70 characters count, because when you're writing comments, that's all you see. You don't see the whole thing. It gives you your headline. It gives you your banner. It then gives you a where to start on your about section when you want to write that up. These are really important when you are looking for a job, and also if you do business on LinkedIn. When you go networking and someone says, what do you do? It is your elevator pitch. That's how you start. If you're in the pub, for example, which is more interesting, if someone says, what do you do? Does your value proposition make them go, oh, that's interesting? Or do they fall asleep? If they fall asleep, then you've not done it right. Start again. But it gives you your elevator pitch. So you've got clarity of what it is you offer. You've got confidence because you know what you've done before. You've decided what your pitch is. You can now deliver it, and you can talk about it and embellish it in your about section and in your content strategy on LinkedIn. Look for those hashtags on LinkedIn about what it is you deliver or what it is you solve, and then go and start. If you're not ready to start posting necessarily, you can start adding your value in the comments and becoming known for what it is that you offer. Obviously, when you once you've found out what their pains are, then what you're talking about becomes relevant. Therefore, it becomes interesting and you stand out. You're not saying, I'm a great marketer. No one cares. But it's what can you do for them? So you need to stand out. When you go for meetings or interviews, stop trying to sell yourself. No one cares. Get into the problems, understand what it is they need to solve, and you're pitching then about how you solve it and how you do it better or differently to anyone else. So
we are out of time. We are out
of time.
Yeah, I think we need a part 2 next week.
Yeah.
To be honest,
there's so much in here. Let's save the gold. Let's save the gold. Listen, you've covered an awful lot today, and there's so many bits to this. I think about trust from an emotional point of view and a mindset point of view as well. There's so much behind this, but let's have a chat when we get offline, ladies. Maybe we do round 2 next week. Maybe we come back to it a little bit later. Put it in the comments if you want more of this. But next week, the plan at the moment, which might change, is that we're going to look at personal goal setting. We're hitting December, coming into 2023. It's biting our bottoms. It's coming. And we want to know is what would you really be doing if you believed in yourself? What would be your inspiring personal goals for 2023? And we want to share with you the difference that makes to your feelings of fulfillment and how you're able to be productive and successful next year as well. So join us for that if you'd like to hear some more, and let us know if you want some more from Vanessa on the value proposition as well. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, everyone who's joined today. It's lovely to see everybody. We'll be back next week at 12:30, whatever time of the world it is in the world that you're in, for some more bite-sized chunks of CPD over lunch.
yes, thank you,
Everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.